Now we're at the top of the brand new Jumpline, and I am joined by Ian, the master architect here at Snow Valley. And tell me a little bit about this Jumpline. Tell me about how it started. How did you map it out? You know, what was the plan?
Well, we wanted to get you guys up in the air, so we tried to choose the best spots on the mountain with dirt that was already there, you know, incorporate some natural landings so we didn't have to move as much.
Well, and I feel like Jumplines that incorporate natural shapes are always more fun too.
Yeah, it feels like you're actually riding on the mountain instead of, you know, just on something man-made.
In planning this, did you guys use like GPS plotting? Did you use like gradient? Was there like a magic number you were looking for to get the size jumps you wanted?
Not so much. We just figured this was going to be a good intersection to start at, to give you guys something to chew on in the beginning of the season. So I figured I had that much speed dropping into that hill right there. Give us maybe, you know, 30-foot jump somewhere around there. Not quite expert pro level, but still something that most people can enjoy.
But, spoiler alert, most of them are gaps.
Friendly gaps.
Friendly gaps.
Yeah.
But let's take a walk down this jump line and check out jump by jump and check out all the sections. Okay, we moved down past that initial drop and we've got kind of the first setup feature right behind us, which is this shark fin. So tell us about kind of how you built this here with the stacking the rocks and getting the shape right.
So you can see where the trail comes down and where it goes, there's a little turn right there, so it's a perfect opportunity for a little shark fin, right? Helps you get sideways. Stacked rocks right there, because it's hard to find good material here, so the more we can build it up with rock and whatever we can find and then top it with the good stuff, that's what we've been doing. And
that's also for drainage too.
Yeah,
you get that
you can
nice
see
rock
these
base.
water bars, that'll hold up in the rain and throughout the seasons.
This will stay during the winter, right? This will be kind of just hidden.
Yep.
You're not gonna have to take any of this out?
No. We used to have snowmaking up along this road right here. There actually used to be a chairlift running from about the little flat spot in the valley up there. Little jib park they used to have here.
Oh, yeah.
But they cut all the old snowmaking lines and now we get to use it for mountain bike trails.
I think that's a pretty good deal. So we moved a little bit further down and I would consider this to be like the speedway. It's like the fastest section of the jump line. You got a nice little like long and low, and then you got a nice roller and then another long and low. So in building this, what equipment are you using?
So we have a skid steer and 2 good sized loaders moving material around for me. Yeah, it's hard to find good material, but we have it. Just takes a little time and a lot of water.
So that brings me to the kind of the dirt question of, obviously when you're building lips, you need a little bit higher quality dirt than maybe what's underneath it and supporting it. And a lot of times like you want that dirt that can drain water underneath so it doesn't get really soggy. So where are you finding, you know, the dirt to build the jumps versus the dirt that's going on top of the lips and the landings?
Well, we start out with a general shape with whatever we can find, whether it's rocks or we'll bury trees, slash, the whole nine. And then I'll go around with the skid steer and, you know, you can be a little more picky is what you're picking up with a smaller machine. So typically the good stuff is about a foot down anywhere on the open ski run.
Oh, really? So if you actually go further down, it's better dirt?
Yeah. Depends on the area, obviously. But yeah, sometimes you'll go through a little rock layer and then it turns into exactly what you want. A little bit of clay, a little sand, perfect loam.
So now we are actually standing in the middle of what I consider to be my favorite feature on this whole jump line, which is a slight left-hand table. And then this slight left-hand table actually leads into like a creek gap. I call it like a little creek gap.
Yeah.
Like a mini creek gap, but it's just really cool because it just progressively gets a little bit larger, and this one especially because the landing is higher than the takeoff. Coming into it, it looks a little intimidating, but once you hit it, man, this one just feels so good. Which brings me to the question: you're building this stuff, which means you're the one guinea pigging it, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So what's the process there? At what point do you say, okay, because you probably don't put the final packing on it yet, right?
Right, leave it a little soft just in case I do have to change it. Luckily on this one, came out pretty good first try. Doesn't happen often, but you can see the landing of this jump before you even get anywhere near the takeoff. So to me, that adds an element of comfort.
There's always that wondering of like what's over the edge, how steep it is.
Exactly.
But I feel like coming into this one, you're more confident because you're not thinking, oh man, am I going to get over this knuckle? It's just right in front of you.
Yeah.
I will say my one negative comment about this jump is he built it not to my whip side. So I look kind of like a goon going over this one, but you know, the next jump I can whip. So yeah, you got a little turn going into it, I can whip.
I tried.
So just after that little mini creek gap, you get to a little hip, and it's kind of a up and over, and it slopes into this really big catch berm. This is kind of the flow section of this jump line. So what made you kind of switch gears from the gaps to adding like this little flow section into like the last two doubles?
Well, I love tabletops, I love catching air, but making a really nice turn and feeling those G-forces is also one of those feelings you gotta have in a bike
Oh
park.
yeah,
Have
absolutely.
to. So once again, big natural landing here, didn't have to move very much dirt, and it sets you up great for this right-hander right here. Plenty of speed for the next features.
And this berm especially, coming out of it, were those two little rollers there already, or did you add those?
No, that was natural hillside basically. I just cleaned off the pine needles and nature made perfect rollers for us. And
Well, thank you, nature. So right to our left is a massive ladder roll-in to these pretty massive doubles actually. And I'm just really impressed because usually you don't see doubles this well built and ones that actually feel smaller than they look, I think. How do you go about matching the takeoff angle to that landing angle?
well, the first thing I got to look at is the speed and how high your weight can go back up after you go down a hill like this.
Okay.
So if you stand pretty far back on those jumps and get a good side view, and you look at the elevation of where you're dropping in from, you could potentially jump almost back up to that height. So I'll start out with a takeoff that looks pretty good and, you know, say, oh, yeah, I want to ride that. And based on how much speed I have and how far I think I can go, then I'll place my landing.
So is a lot of it by sight and stepping back and seeing the angles?
Yeah, a lot of it right in the beginning, and then, you know, I'll get into the more nitty-gritty details like measuring the gaps after I've ridden it, make sure that they're right about where they need to be. This one is 30 feet, I believe, and the second one is about 35. So if you land in the right spot off the first one, you should be able to carry a little more speed, go a little farther.
I was noticing in your practice run or your guinea pig run that that ladder didn't exist. So was that kind of a last minute addition into this line?
Yeah, we knew we were gonna have problems with the dirt not staying where we put it. So we decided to make it permanent and put the ladder bridge in there, and it turns out it gave us a little more speed, so.
No, absolutely, and I think it's a little bit more consistent too.
Absolutely.
Because in any type of weather condition, you know that speed, you know, softer dirt, harder dirt, that, at least that thing that's giving you all the speed for the jumps is going to be the same speed.
Exactly. That's the one thing you want to have consistent is how fast you're going.
You know, everybody really loves a show going up the lift, so I think the strategy of putting it here was awesome, and it's protected from the wind.
Yeah. Luckily, this line with all the natural, you know, rollers and landings in it, it's fairly well protected.
All right, Ian, before we head off, I gotta ask, for all those people out there that wanna build their own jumps, maybe not ones this size, but ones that are maybe smaller that they wanna learn on, what advice do you have in building that first jump?
Well, you can start long and low. Make sure your landing is twice as long as your takeoff.
Okay.
And that's a pretty good place to start. And if your takeoff transition is longer than a bike length, that makes it all the better.
What's kind of the ratio? Because I've heard a lot of different ratios on, you know, height to length. You know, there's obviously for different styles, BMX jumps and stuff like that, you're gonna have different radiuses. But as far as building that curve, what are you kind of looking for as far as length to height?
Well, most people aren't comfortable going really steep up and then steep down. So I kind of keep it long and low, a little easier.
So about
more
like
mellow.
Maybe twice as long as it is high?
Yeah, I'd do the gap maybe twice as long as the takeoff transition, and then the landing should probably be twice as long as your takeoff.
That's the takeoff. Okay, so 2, 4, and 4.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Right about there.
Well, there's some ratios for you guys out there. Go build some jumps, and remember to go fast, get drifty, and don't suck.
And when you're building your takeoffs, please make them more than a bike length long.
Please make them more than a...
Please.